Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm Attorney Megan Pastrana, and I'm really excited to be with all of you here today. Today, especially because it is the launch of the Navigating Love and Immigration book. So it is now available for sale on Amazon, and I'm excited to be here with all of you to celebrate the book and also, of course, to answer your questions here live. And we'll be doing a double session today in celebration of the book. So this is our morning session here at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then we have a second Q&A session at 6 p.m. today, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And because I know with work schedules and all of that, hopefully those of you who couldn't join on the live here this morning, you can join us this evening. And if you can't join either session, please do a hashtag replay and let me know, where are you at in the world? Where are you at in your immigration journey? And how are you doing? And of course, your questions. All right. So I see we have a lot of people joining us here live, and let me make sure I'm all live on all platforms. So I can see we are good here on, yep, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm live on all 4 platforms. If you have questions, please throw them in the comments and I will answer them in the order that I receive them. But first, I want to celebrate with all of you about the book, Navigating Love and Immigration. So you can see the book here behind me, and I have a copy with me here too. We received all of the author copies for everyone who bought a book pre-sale, and hundreds of those went out yesterday. I signed lots of books. My hand is tired, but I did it with love, with each signature. So grateful for all of you who have purchased a book and are supporting this. Really huge project of love. It's something I've been working on for a long time because it's my immigration journey too. My husband and I, we went through our own immigration journey, and I wanted to share that journey with everyone vulnerably. And then also, this book is meant to be a guide, especially for those of you who are starting out. But even if you're in the middle of your immigration journey, the book has a lot of helpful tips and resources. So the book goes into what are the main options available to couples. How do you pick the best path? How do you prove your relationship is real? How do you prepare for immigration interviews? And most importantly, how do you nourish your union during your immigration journey? Because it's a stressful process. It is really going to test your resiliency. And if you're willing to lean in to that journey and accept the lessons, or receive rather the lessons that the journey can give you, your relationship can be so much stronger on the other side. So the book also includes some really helpful tips in that regard as well. And then one of my most favorite chapters is that if you look at the book here, you will see that, if I can turn it so everybody can see it, the image on the front, I love it. It makes my heart so happy because these are couples that my team and I have helped navigate their immigration journey. So these couples are also featured in the book, and they're giving you advice and tips on how to get through this process with your sanity intact, and more importantly, how to lean into that adventure and how to come out strong on the other side. So I love this picture. It makes my heart so happy to see these couples. It's such an honor for every couple that we've had the privilege of guiding, but they are featured in the book as well. All right. So my most exciting announcement is that my team and I decided that we wanted to make this book available as a free Kindle download today, since today is our book launch. So I'm going to throw that here in the comments. And so this is the Kindle version of the book, and it's free today. So you want to get in there right now, click on that link and download your free Kindle book, your free Kindle copy of Navigating Love and Immigration. And let me make sure, I know sometimes on Instagram I have to manually, yes, I'm going to have to manually put it in on that site as well. But go to that link, it's on Amazon, and you can, and you can, like I said, I put it up here as well. You can get your free copy. So you go to Amazon, click on that link. It's available for free download. And if you know anyone at all who is going through an immigration process and can benefit from this information, please share this link with them so they can get their copy as well. And then we also have, a link for you to purchase if you want an actual physical copy to purchase that. But today the Kindle version is free. So please do check that out. And last but not least, I'm going to throw up the banner that I have here about our resource center. Oh, but I do have some lovely comments. Thank you very much for the congratulations. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so excited too. It's surreal. Like it's one of those days where, you're just like, "Oh my gosh, this is real. This is happening. I've been working on this for so long." And it's amazing. Thank you, Betty. And I know you're in Canada. Thank you so much. And thank you, Lisa. Appreciate everyone's support. And I think I saw Ginger too. Um, Awesome. Ginger, good morning. And thank you very much for celebrating with me here today. And your boyfriend's coming for your birthday next week. Yay. Happy birthday. That's super exciting. I know you've been apart for a while because you've been keeping us updated on the trips you've been able to take to be together. So I'm excited for you both and happy birthday. That'll be a lovely time together. So again, please throw in the comments. Yay, you got the book. Yay, please do share the link far and wide. Like I said, my team and I, we talked about it. We want to make sure that this is accessible to everyone. And so again, it's today only. Make sure you share the link. It's just a celebration of the book. So I'm so glad you were able to download it. All right. So tell me, where are you all at in the world? Where are you at in your immigration journey? And most importantly, how are you all doing? There's so much going on right now in the world. And when you're going through an immigration process, I know there's just so much fear and uncertainty right now. So I want to do a check-in. How are you all doing? All right. So you're watching in Jacksonville, Florida. Good morning, beautiful people. Great to have you with us. In South Africa, awesome. And you are going through the fiancé visa process. You're in Canada. Great. So keep them coming. And I know, and hi to you as well. Good morning. All righty. So let's dive in to our questions here today. I know Terry was excited, had some questions, and dropped those in the comments a little bit before the show started. So Terry, you're first in the queue. I know you have an interview around the corner. You've been, or your husband rather, and you've been here with us every week, giving us updates. So that's good for everyone who's going through an immigration process to see, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You'll get to that interview day. So you have a question about documents and whether or not, basically, if the documents need to be translated. So first and foremost, it's really important to understand that every case type, so if you're a spouse visa, fiancé visa, adjustment of status, has its own required documents. And then another layer on top of that is every U.S. embassy and consulate has different requirements based on certain country document requirements. So Philippines is the one that's coming to my mind first. Like, for example, the Philippines has something called a CENMAR or a CMAR. So a certificate of marriage or a certificate of non-marriage. And that's unique to individuals going through the Philippines. That is a document that they have to provide for the process that isn't required in other places. So first and foremost, you'll want to make sure you're checking 1, your interview notice, and then 2, the National Visa Center, and prepare for your interview pages. I was talking with one of the paralegals on our team the other day, and we were just talking about how it's just so interesting that the interview document list you get, and then the U.S. Embassy list, and then the NVC list, that they all can have document descriptions that can be a little different, or they can add in documents that aren't on the interview notice. So I say all of this to let you know that our conversation was about how important it is we check all of the different lists to make sure, first and foremost, you have all of the required documents. And second of all, to answer your question about translations, is it depends on the embassy. And it depends on the case type, whether or not you'll need a translation. So again, you're going to be checking that interview notice. You'll be checking the National Visa Center and also checking the National Visa Center, Department of State, prepare for your interview. And that should all be links that are typically will be included in the interview email. So it really depends whether or not translations are needed. Some embassies or consulates will accept documents in English or another language. So for example, in Mexico, for example, our clients that have their interview through Ciudad Juarez, they can take documents in either English or Spanish and they'll both be accepted. A translation isn't going to be required. But in other countries, if you had documents in Spanish and you're going to an interview in the consular post in London, then you would have to have that translation. So all of this to say is I can't tell you, conclusively yes or no without knowing, your case type and the specifics of your case. But that would be the best place to check is the interview notice, the National Visa Center, and the prepare for your interview. And if you have a document and you can get an English translation, if you can't find anything that says one way or the other, it doesn't hurt to have it. We always are saying here is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So you could always get a translation if you don't find any clarity in those documents. All right. Well, good luck. Good luck with your husband's interview. Please keep us posted on how it goes. And I hope that helps answer your question. All right. Who is next in the queue? Yes. Yes. So the travel ban, and I actually have a video that should be released here very soon about the travel ban that it was announced by this current administration. And so the travel ban is currently in the works. It lists 43 countries that would be part of the travel ban. They are broken up into red, orange, and yellow, meaning a complete ban, a partial ban, and then they're going to give them like a grace period in the yellow group to apparently get things in order and get in compliance is their language to be able to have visas issued. So at this point, what we know is it's in the works. We don't have a lot of details outside of the names of the countries in these categories and the restrictions that each category would have, be it a complete ban or a partial ban. And the other thing that we don't have a lot of clarity on right now is, will it impact individuals who are already in the middle of the process? Will it impact individuals who already have a visa? And what will it mean for spouse and fiance visa cases? So with these travel bans, once it's announced, of course, we'll have more clarity on who would be impacted and the extent to which they would be impacted. But the travel ban is a big deal. And again, we don't have a lot of details yet outside of that. What I can tell you is that immigration is still accepting applications. So even if you're one of the countries on the list, you can still submit your application. The first step is decided by USCIS, and that the USCIS is going to be able to still, adjudicate or decide your application. The travel bans would not directly impact that first piece of the case. The phase of the case is going to have the issue as the interview when the visa is issued. We likely are going to see litigation. We saw this before with the prior travel bans that the administration had tried, that there were lawsuits that were filed. There are a lot of individuals who are advocating right now to stop these travel bans. And all of you, I really want to make sure that you walk away with this piece. Everybody here on this call today, these changes that can impact your lives in your immigration cases, it's really important to know you have a voice. So it might feel like, you alone feel like maybe you can't make an impact or a change, but all of us collectively can. And so I want to make sure you all walk away with the importance of you reaching out to your U.S. representative. So you can find your representative online. I'll make sure we put that link in the comments here today so you can have that tool to locate your representative, your congressional representative, your senators. Reach out often. Tell them your story. Tell them why these travel bans should not happen. Tell them what the impact will be if you can't bring your fiance or spouse. Let your voice be heard. And hey, we're in this age of social media, and this is a great platform. Social media, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. Share your story, share your concerns, because there's so much that individuals don't know about what couples go through when they're going through an immigration process. Education is really important. So educating your friends and family, if you feel comfortable putting things on social media, how this will impact your life and how important it is that this travel ban not go into place. So by all of us doing that, that's why I make videos on YouTube to educate, inform, and help all of us to be able to, or help all of you and all of us to work together to be able to take action and advocate for change. So that was my long rant on my soapbox, but it's a really important question. This is a really important topic. Travel bans could have a significant impact on cases, and it's important to understand right now. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, and so you're piggybacking. I just see you're piggybacking off that question. For applicants from non-banned countries, does that mean that our cases would be approved faster due to the country bans? No, it would not, because it's important to understand when your case gets to um, that phase of a spouse or a fiance visa interview. If you have a case in London, whether or not the embassy in Venezuela, if applicants rather from Venezuela are able to have their visas processed, that's not going to impact you having a faster wait time. So I hopefully that helps answer your question. But yeah, and I wanted to just kind of look here and see if anybody else has any questions or concerns about the travel ban specifically. Yeah, yeah, and so we have some other individuals asking about the travel ban, if that would impact your interviews, and so again, right now it's an announcement. It's not official. It's not being implemented right at this moment. We could see it be implemented in any moment. That's why it's really important to, like I said, reach out to your representatives, and share the word, spread the word rather, that why this travel ban shouldn't go into effect. But if you are in the red category of countries are individuals where they say it would be a total ban. So it would be likely that you would not be able to complete the visa process to bring your spouse and family members. And then they have the orange category, where it's there would which they haven't really given a lot of details on what does it mean for it to be partial. Would spouses and fiancés be included? And then there's yellow, where they're going to give them 60 days to improve their vetting practices, whatever that means. So again, yes, it would, if you're on that country, if you're on that list of countries in the travel ban, it's very likely what we saw in the prior administration is if there are travel bans for a certain country, that individual is not going to be able to complete the process. Um, I just want to see. Yeah, and then and you also saw a briefing from the Department of State that mentioned the travel ban is not real, but who knows? Who knows, right? There's so much fear mongering out there, and there's so much news that is false, and then there's some truth, and it's hard to kind of sort through all of the stuff, right? And so I did start a playlist, or a really like a topic of that the sky is not falling. Was what I've called it. That's the word I was looking for. The sky is not falling. Immigration 2025, Attorney Megan Pastrana. And I don't say that to minimize what is happening in the world of immigration. Okay, I want to be clear with that. Um, yeah, and Lisa, you were piggybacking to saying all representatives have their social media platforms and they're online, and you can find your representative and reach out to them. So, but it is, Asher, you're right. It's hard to filter through what's the truth, what are the rumors, what are the lies. This travel ban, though, is something that there was an executive order that was signed, and we anticipated, all of us immigration practitioners anticipated we would see a resurfacing of the travel bans, because they did happen during the prior administration, and there was a lot of litigation, but nothing has been formally released. So Asher, what I'm taking from your comment, and what I want everybody to take, is there's nothing in place right now. That doesn't mean that we just say, okay, well, there's nothing in place. There's nothing I can do. Reaching out to your representatives and letting them know that this can't go into effect. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's see who's next. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, so you are asking about insurance or Medicaid, okay, for health insurance, or will this negatively affect my N-400 getting approved when the time comes to apply? So Medicaid, health insurance, all of that, I really recommend that you talk. I don't know if you have someone, but if you don't, it's really good to talk with an insurance agent, or insurance representative, and making sure they understand what your current status is, and that they're very clear on your immigration status, so they can advise you on what policies are available to you. Because individuals that are here on a fiance visa, or individuals who are on a work permit or a green card, what insurance options are available to you will be different. And so it's really important, to check on that. Check with someone who's an expert in that realm before taking out an insurance policy. Typically, as a lawful permanent resident, it's okay for you to receive certain government benefits. It's fine for you to buy a private health insurance plan. But again, my advice would be, that's what I tell all clients, and we have individuals that we refer people to that are insurance reps. So if you know someone who's in the insurance industry, especially health insurance, that you can explain to them, hey, this is my current status. What am I eligible to receive? That's the best thing to do. Because, and also if you're employed at a job and they offer health insurance, you're allowed to have that health insurance if you have a work permit or if you're a green card holder. So, all right, let's see who's next in the queue. Okay, so you live in Algeria and your fiance lives in the United States. You applied for the petition and you're waiting on the approval. Can you get a tourist visa while you're waiting? This is definitely the number one most popular question. And I know why individuals ask this question, because the fiance visa and spouse visa process is long and you want to know, can we visit one another and be together? So it's important to understand that the I-129F, a fiance visa or a spouse visa, when you're filing those applications, you're telling immigration that you have something called immigrant intent. What is immigrant intent? It means that you have an intention to come to the United States, immigrate to the United States, and live. When you have a tourist visa application, you have to show immigration you do not have immigrant intent, because the tourist visa is not meant for you to come and live. The tourist visa is meant for you to come for a short visit. So when you have an application, or when you are wanting to take steps to an application like a fiance or a spouse visa, you're telling immigration, I have immigrant intent. And then with the tourist visa, you have to say you have no immigrant intent. So you see how that's going to be butting heads. Those two different intents are going to be butting heads. So it can definitely cause issues. Can you apply for a tourist visa? Yes, but can it cause issues? Absolutely. And so my recommendation is that you do not apply for a tourist visa unless until you have spoken with an immigration attorney to understand the risks in your particular case. And then also, it's really important to understand that tourist visas are very difficult to get approved, and they're going to be way more difficult to get approved if you already have a pending petition like a fiance or spouse visa. Because it's really important when you file a tourist visa application, you always, always, always must be honest with immigration, and you would need to be honest about those pending applications. As soon as immigration sees that, they'll say, no, you aren't eligible for a tourist visa. Wait for your fiance or spouse visa. So great question, popular question. But yeah, applying for a tourist visa is typically not an option, and definitely don't try applying until you've spoken with an immigration attorney. All right, let's see who's next here. Yeah, and so the travel ban, again, like we've been talking about, is really to be determined on how it's going to impact spouse and fiance visa cases. There's a draft list like we've talked about, but it's not clear if any other countries will be added, if countries will be removed, and really the direct impact that would have to fiance and spouse visa cases. There's nothing out there about whether or not there'd be waivers in certain circumstances for family. Okay, so this is a joint sponsor question for financial support. So part of the fiance and spouse visa process requires you to show immigration that you, the immigrant, or rather that you as a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, that your fiance or spouse will not be a public charge. So the way you show that you won't be a public charge, or rather that you won't need government benefits, is through an affidavit, what's called an affidavit of support. So a financial support document form, and also by providing evidence. And so if the U.S. citizen petitioner does not make enough, in some cases, the petitioner might be a lawful permanent resident, but if you don't make enough, then you can have a joint sponsor. And the joint sponsor would also have to sign a form and then provide their financial evidence. So the joint sponsor cannot be used to like add their income to yours, they have to qualify on their own. So if you're wanting to have someone to help and be a joint sponsor, that's great. That's fine. You can get your case approved that way if the petitioner does not make enough. But he or she has to provide all of their financial information and sign a form too. All right. And I'm receiving questions about asylum and EB3s and things of that nature. And I answer questions related to the family realm of immigration because that's what we do here at Immigration for Couples. So if I go over your question, it's because it's really outside of my zone of what I call joy and genius and expertise. So I can focus on the family based questions. But thank you for being here with us. So just so you know, um, let's see. Let's see who's the next person. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay. Oh, yay. Daniel, I'm so glad you got your copy. And I love that you're featured too. It makes my heart so happy. So thank you for being with us here today. All right. Okay. So you were wondering if you have a green card and traveling to Europe, do you need to apply for ESTA? Um, yeah, so whenever you're traveling as a green card holder and even as a US citizen, you need to look at whatever country to which you're traveling, what their rules and regulations are. The ESTA is something that exists with the United States and Europe because and really other countries too, Australia, because we have a reciprocal agreement. Hey, we are going to have this visa waiver program. Your citizens can come to our country, our citizens can go to your country up to 90 days, visa free. So the best thing to do is to which country are you traveling, and then look at those requirements before going. I always do that. I never just assume because I'm a US citizen, I can go wherever I want. I know that can be kind of something that maybe people an oversight. That's what I was looking for, an oversight. But do your research before you travel and see what are the requirements before departing. Do I need to do any kind of application, apply for any kind of visa, anything like that? Aw, Terry, that's great. I think that's awesome. You've been with us, joining us basically almost every week on live events. So that's really an honor that you'll be purchasing the book too, and make sure get your free copy too. So I love that you'll have that book too. Okay. I'm trying to see who's next. Okay, Phil, you and Anna are in Thailand, hopefully getting close to the I-130 approval. For those watching, you're commending our firm and for anyone who's looking for support and service. Well, recommendations and referrals are the highest compliment we can receive here at Immigration for Couples. That means a lot to us. That means we've provided that exceptional level of service. So it's such an honor to guide you both in your immigration process, and lots of prayers and positive vibes for that approval to come through soon. All right. So that I-130 processing time, you're a US citizen. Sure. So I-130 processing times right now we're seeing sit at about 16.5 months. That's for the very first step for the petition. And you can always check that too on USCIS online. They have a tool where you can check estimated processing times. Understand that processing times are a bit of a roller coaster and they can go up and down, and they are just estimates. You could get a decision before or a little after, but on average, about 16 and a half months is what we're seeing. All right. You got married and you didn't want to live apart for too long. That makes sense. Your wife is a lawful permanent resident living abroad with me with frequent trips back and forth to the US. Okay, so that's a good question, and it's a very important question, and it's one that I cannot answer conclusively without knowing all of the details. However, that's great. We have a lot of couples who opt to live together during the process where the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident is residing abroad. I know your question is coming in because, with your spouse being a lawful permanent resident, he or she should not be living outside of the US for more than should not be rather taking trips outside of the US for more than 6 months at a time. And they should also not be living outside of the US, because as a lawful permanent resident, you have to show immigration that the U.S. is your home, that you have an address in the U.S., a driver's license, and you have financial accounts and file taxes, and that your domicile, your home, is the United States. And if your spouse is living abroad with you, that gets to be a little bit tricky. Is their home, in fact, the country where they're living abroad, or is it still the U.S.? If you're a resident, it has to be the U.S. So again, I'm just kind of giving you all of that educational and background information, but I can't say what address you should list. But you need to be very careful and make sure that you're, of course, one, answering with the truth, and two, not causing your wife, lawful permanent resident wife, any issues with her green card and any issues for your case as well. So hopefully that education and information gives you a little bit of clarity. But again, that would be something that I would need to have your case, your entire history in front of me to be able to advise on how to fill out forms. Oh, and yeah. Yeah, and you're saying that your wife staying for more than 180 days in a year be an issue. Yeah, again, you wanna make sure you're being honest, and then you also wanna make sure you're not jeopardizing your wife's green card. So that's a tricky question that definitely has an answer, but I would need to, again, look at all of the information and documents and better understand. You're welcome to book a consultation with me. Here's the link, immigrationforcouples.com. You can book your consultation online, and we can talk more in private about your case and strategy. So that's what will be the next step. All right. Hello from Florida. Great to have you with us. Oh, Doniseta, great to have you with us. You're very welcome. Let's see. Okay, so I have some individuals who were asking me to answer their question, but I already did. I answered it in the order I received them. And so understand that I'm streaming on 4 platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, and I'm receiving questions from all places. So a question from Facebook might come in before a question from YouTube, but I have them all here, and I'm doing my best to get through as many as I can. You're very welcome. Yay! And you downloaded the book, Donizeto. That's great. All right. Yes. Wait times are awful. They are. Again, reaching out to your representatives and telling them this has got to change. Enough is enough. This is the impact on my life for having to be apart from my spouse or my fiance. The wait times are out of control. And yes, we need to come together collectively and advocate for change. So I agree. All right. Will an undocumented spouse be detained at an I-130 interview, no prior contact with ICE, and no criminal record, entered without inspection, married to a U.S. citizen? That can be a risky place to be in if an interview is scheduled on an I-130. I talk with my colleagues about this on a regular basis, especially right now, because they have always had the ability, if an I-130 interview is scheduled, to have ICE agents at the interview are available to detain individuals if they do not have status or prior removal orders and things like that. I know you said you don't, but that is, it can be risky territory. Not all I-130 cases will have an interview. So it's, we definitely help couples who are in this situation navigate the situation and really mitigate the risks of having something like that happen at the interview. I'm happy to speak with you about this in private. I have conversations about this with individuals all the time, and we set a strategy and are able to get them still through the process and get their green card. So you're in the right place. We can talk about that in private in more detail. There is a risk there, definitely, and definitely making sure you have the right legal advice and counsel on your side. Okay, so this is a long question. One of the ones that like covers me up because it's so big. Let's see. You have a question. Your boyfriend's grandparents submitted for visas for their children and grandchildren 15 years ago, and they just got approved a few months ago. Does this still include grandchildren if they are no longer minors? Their names were on the documents, but it's unclear if they are included as adult grandchildren. We were not asked to fill out additional documents. It's something that can I cover and can I give like advice on? Yes, like there are petitions that family members can make in what they call the non-immediate relative category. So the grandparents don't actually there's no visa for grandparents to petition for their grandchildren. There is a visa for parents to petition lawful permanent residents to petition for their children, for example, or U.S. citizens petitioning for their adult children. And then there's a very long wait. And those categories can actually allow you to have other family members be a part of that visa once approved. But those other family members, like children of the person for whom the petition was filed, have to meet eligibility requirements such as age and being minors, being under the age of 21 at the time that visa is approved. So depending on when the petition was filed, who filed the petition, how old your boyfriend is, and all of that will factor into whether or not this is a benefit for which he can receive a visa. It sounds like likely not, but I can't say yes or no conclusively without seeing all of the documents. So, and that's kind of the theme of today. You all have really great questions, but I have blinders, right? Without being able to see all of the documents, without being able to see the petition and who is the beneficiary of the petition, ages of everyone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So is it possible that there's an option there? Yes. And there might be other options that are better for your boyfriend. So again, consultation. I'm happy to speak with you in private about options that are available. You can do that online, immigrationforcouples.com, or by calling the phone number, and my team can get you scheduled. But interesting question. I always like to really delve into those more complex fact patterns and see if there's any possible solutions or paths that we can still complete to receive that visa. This is I like this question. K1 or CR1, which would be less stressful or cheaper? Well, those are factors to consider, definitely, in choosing an option, but there are other factors as well in choosing whether or not to do the fiance or the spouse visa. For couples who pick the fiance visa, being together as soon as possible is typically the number one reason that will make couples go that direction, because the fiance visa was created to be faster than the spouse visa, and it is faster. Those who will choose a spouse visa know, hey, it's going to take a long time. And as all of the individuals who are here today talking about the I-130 and waiting 16 and a half months for just the first step, they understand that's a trade-off. Hey, I'm going to go through this process, this spouse visa process. It takes longer, but my spouse is going to enter the country day one being a green card holder. So that's a huge benefit. So those are some of the main considerations. And then also, are children going to be involved in the case? Because sometimes the fiance visa is a better option if children are involved. There's so many factors to consider. Typically, the fiance visa is going to be more costly because you have a whole nother step to complete once you enter the US, and government fees are double that of a spouse visa. Trade-offs, right? Less stressful. I think that's going to be relative. I think it depends on a lot of factors. For some individuals, just being able to be together faster is worth the individual entering on a fiance visa and not being able to work for a while. There's a lot you're hearing from me. There's a lot of different factors to take into consideration. So everybody that's here today can weigh in on what they think is better. But at the end of the day, it's not a one size fits all. And, really understanding your options. The book that we announced here today, get your copy. Use that link to download your complimentary copy of the book. And I go into the options that are available to couples, why some choose one option over the other. And we also have a free resource center that I have below at immigrationforcouples.com where you can check that out too. So you can get even more information. Let me see where I left off. I do need to jet. I'm going to be back here again this evening. All right. And they're such good questions. Yay. You just ordered the book. Thanks for the support. You're very welcome on addressing your question. Okay, so that helps. So now I'm having more pieces of the puzzle. So that's the thing is, you give me your question, and I know you can only fit so much in there, but there's so many other pieces of the puzzle that I need. So you said you're getting married and about to start the process, but when this got approved, we got so excited to possibly be able to skip the long wait times. Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's going to be option that's going to help you skip any wait times. Typically, getting married or doing the fiancé visa is going to be a more direct path than those non-immediate relative categories. So, glimmers of hope are wonderful. Leave no stone unturned in your research. It's good to make sure you're checking all of your options, right? So, all right. Oh, yay, Daniel, thanks for your yes, and you're right. K1 should be faster till it's not. You'll always have a chip on my shoulder seeing the K1 wait times more than double while our petition was being processed. Yes. Thank you for sharing that with everyone, because it's a good reminder that when you're trying to pick an option and pick a path, I talk about this in the book. Come to a Yogi Berra, famous baseball player, famous quote: "When you come to a fork in the road, take it." You want to make sure that you are very diligent and that you educate yourself and understand the paths, but just pick a path and get started. Because trying to figure out and guess the system, what's going to be faster, how long is it going to take, it's just going to cause you to feel like you're going going insane. And so you pick a path, go down that path. And what Daniel is saying is it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. We saw wait times for the fiance, especially during the pandemic, really go up. Things were just going at a molasses speed like a sloth. And then earlier last year, we saw that things sped up and we had some that were approved in a matter of months. And then it kind of went back up to 8 months. And so it's a roller coaster. And just getting that application filed and reminding yourself you're one day closer, and understand you're going to ride a little bit of a roller coaster with wait times. Yay. I'm so glad you were able to download it, Ginger. And it's so lovely to see all of the new faces, but I really enjoy seeing those of you who have been here week after week and supporting this community. It's so important for all of us who've gone through an immigration process already, and those who are going through an immigration process, to know you're not alone. It can feel very, very overwhelming and stressful at times, but you'll get to the finish line. Just remember that, lean into that adventure and you'll be stronger on the other side. And then Nancy, you have a great question. I will answer this question this evening at 6:00 if you can join us again. If not, there'll be a replay. I do have to jet. I need to eat lunch, and then I have lots of appointments to help our clients. It's great to be with all of you today. Thank you for all the support with the book. Be sure to download your free copy, share it with others, share it far and wide. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, everyone. Bye.